the first episode using grids in composition, we looked at the 3x3 grid. Now, this is commonly used by photographers to align objects with the grid lines. However, it's not the only way that this happens. If you go back to more historic times from the Renaissance onwards, you find artists using what's called the golden section. I don't know who invented the golden section, but it goes all the way back to the ancient Greeks. It's a particular set of proportions that seem to be so satisfying that it's been used in architecture and painting and design as well. Even Google decided that using some form of the golden section would suit them for their logo. Now, the golden section may seem just a little bit too calculated and mathematical for some people, and that's fair enough. But it's surprising just how often that set of proportions turns up in paintings. Artists use it, almost without knowing it. It doesn't matter whether they're amateurs or professionals, it just seems to be something they gravitate towards. Here are a whole load of examples. For instance, here's a Monet. The tower is right on the edge of the golden section. And you see this occurring over and over again in a variety of paintings. A further variation of the grid in painting is something a little bit different. You're not actually looking at any more than, say, vertical or horizontal grid lines. And you'll say, oh, well, it's not really a grid. Well, it is, because the edges of the frame, the edges of the canvas, are the verticals and horizontals as much as what's in between. Now, typically, what you're talking about here when you divide up a canvas this way is more about rhythm than anything else. The eye is led along the painting. Now, here is a Patrick Heron, here is a Rothko. They are both doing the same thing. Now, I know Rothko is painting for a different reason, but his rectangles moving up the canvas from smaller to larger, whichever order he puts them in, create a rhythm, and it's a rhythm of rectangles. Same with the Patrick Heron. Now you can also look at, say, a Barnett Newman. He's got 3 big red rectangles here. Now I know some people can't stand Barnett Newman, or he's not really a painter at all, but what he's using here is that same idea. 3 rectangles that move, probably one way or the other, but they're designed to be red so that you can actually move your head from one along the line to the next one. Another mathematical version of this is what's called the Fibonacci Series. Now, this collection of numbers, in fact, guides the whole of nature in how things grow. It seems simple on the surface. You add 2 numbers together to get the next one. So 1, 1, 2, 2 and 1 gives you 3, and so on. But it's a way of dividing up a picture space, and it has been used surprisingly often in art, probably since the Renaissance. Probably not so much today. People have rather given this sort of thing away. Now you can see in this frieze that this is exactly what's been done. Each of the vertical divisions is a number sequence from Fibonacci. So the narrowest ones on the left gradually getting wider, and it leads the eye across the work. A not uncommon stratagem is to lead the eye across the canvas, which is what that previous piece does. Now, you don't have to have rectangles to do this. There are other ways as well. For instance, repeated shapes. In the Pollock, we probably get both. The darker lines are the equivalent of divisions of the rectangle, even though they're not regular, and the marks themselves lead you across the canvas. And the same is true of this piece. Although there are no rectangles here, you get a repeated shape that moves you progressively to the right-hand side.